my friend, in the depths of night, when silence wraps around you like a shadow, have you ever felt that dragon of pain coiling in your soul? That moment when life doesn't just challenge you, it shatters you, leaving you gasping in the dark, wondering if you'll ever rise again. I see it in your eyes, that flicker of recognition. Every single person in this room knows this unwelcome companion we call pain. I remember the night that changed everything. Hong Kong, 1957. I was young, arrogant, my fists faster than thought, or so I believed. The streets were wet with rain, the air thick with destiny. I faced an opponent who taught me the most brutal lesson of my life, not with wisdom, but with fists that exposed every flaw in my technique, every crack in my foundation. In less than 3 minutes, everything I thought I knew about combat, about myself, lay broken on those rain-slicked streets. For 3 days and 3 nights I lay on my bed, each breath a symphony of agony. My ribs painted stories of failure across my chest. My muscles screamed songs of defeat. But on that third night, as the city's neon lights danced through my window, something extraordinary happened. In that crucible of pain, a truth crystallized, pure and powerful as diamond under pressure. Each throb of pain wasn't just an echo of defeat, it was a map of transformation. Every ache illuminated a weakness begging to be transformed into strength. Every sharp stab of regret pointed to a lesson waiting to be learned. You see, most people move through life like shadows, desperately avoiding pain's touch. They see it as their greatest enemy, a dragon to be slain or fled from. But they've misread the ancient wisdom. Pain isn't your enemy. It's your most demanding teacher, your most faithful guide to greatness. Like the unforgiving master who pushes you beyond your limits, not because he hates you, but because he can see your true potential. Consider this truth. When a bamboo shoot is bent by storm winds, what happens? It doesn't just survive, it grows stronger, more resilient. Science calls this hormesis, the biological principle where controlled stress triggers adaptation. We see it in every aspect of nature. Muscles tear and rebuild stronger, bones stressed become denser, mental challenges forge new neural pathways. This isn't just biology, it's the universal algebra of transformation. My journey from that broken young man on Hong Kong streets to who stands before you today, it's living proof of this ancient truth. Every setback, every failure, every moment of searing doubt, these weren't obstacles blocking my path. They were the very stones from which I built my bridge to mastery. In these next moments together, I will share with you the secret alchemy of transformation. How to transform the lead of your pain into the gold of power. How to stop running from your dragons and learn to ride them instead. Because once you grasp this truth, truly grasp it, you'll never see your challenges the same way again. But before we dive into these depths, inscribe this truth upon your heart. The pain you feel today isn't just hurting you. It's forging you. The question isn't whether you'll face your dragons. It's whether you'll learn to dance with them. Are you ready to master the ancient art of turning pain into power? Are you ready to become unstoppable? When I first arrived in America, I carried nothing but $18 in my pocket and a dream burning in my heart. The streets of San Francisco weren't paved with gold. They were paved with challenges that tested every fiber of my being. Each morning, I would wake up in my small room above the restaurant where I worked. my muscles aching from the previous day's training, my mind wrestling with a language that still felt foreign on my tongue. I remember standing in front of American customers, trying to take their orders, each mispronounced word a small wound to my pride. They would laugh, not cruelly, but laugh nonetheless. In those moments, I felt the bitter taste of being an outsider, a stranger in a land that didn't yet understand me. But each night, after my shift ended, I would return to my room and turn those feelings into fuel for my training. The restaurant kitchen became my first American dojo. Between washing dishes, I would practice my movements, using the rhythm of kitchen work to perfect my timing. The chef thought I was crazy, but I was learning something profound: how to transform every obstacle into an opportunity. When my hands were raw from hot water and soap, I learned to feel the subtle differences in muscle tension. When my feet ached from hours of standing, I discovered new ways to root my stance. But the real transformation came one winter morning in Oakland. I was training with a student, an American football player twice my size. He was skeptical of my methods, challenging everything I taught. During our sparring, he caught me with a powerful strike that sent me crashing into the wall. The impact knocked the breath from my lungs, and for a moment, that old Hong Kong defeat flashed before my eyes. But this time was different. As I felt the pain surge through my body, something clicked. Instead of fighting against it, I began to study it. Where exactly did it hurt? How did it affect my movement? What was it telling me about my position, my balance, my awareness? This wasn't just pain, it was data, precious information about my own limitations and possibilities. In that moment, I developed what I now call the pain mapping technique. Instead of trying to push through pain blindly, I learned to read it like a scientist reading a complex diagram. Every sensation became a point of data, every limitation a signpost pointing toward potential growth. This revelation transformed not just my training, but my teaching. I started seeing patterns in how different students responded to challenges. Take James, my first American student. When he came to me, he could barely touch his toes. His body was rigid with years of tension, his mind locked in patterns of self-doubt. Most teachers would have focused on stretching his muscles. I focused on stretching his perception of pain. Day by day, I guided him through the process of reading his body's signals. Pain, I told him, is not a wall. It's a window. Through it, you can see exactly where you need to grow. Within 6 months, James wasn't just touching his toes. He was performing movements he never thought possible. But more importantly, he had learned to transform his relationship with discomfort. As I worked with more students, patterns began to emerge. I noticed that those who learned to analyze their pain rather than avoid it progressed far more quickly. This wasn't just about physical training anymore. It was about developing a systematic approach to growth through adversity. I started documenting everything. Every breakthrough, every setback, every pattern of transformation. What emerged was a methodology that went far beyond martial arts. It was a blueprint for turning life's greatest challenges into catalysts for growth. Looking back at those early days in America, I realize now that every struggle was a gift. The language barriers taught me new ways to communicate. The cultural differences showed me how to bridge worlds. The financial hardships gave me an unwavering determination. Even the loneliness of those first years taught me something invaluable: that true strength often takes root in the soil of solitude. Each challenge was a different note in what would become a symphony of transformation. And through it all, pain was not just my teacher. It was the chisel that helped me carve myself into who I needed to become. Now, my friend, let me share something deeper. Something that modern science is only beginning to understand, but that martial artists have known for centuries. When you train until your muscles burn, until your lungs feel like fire, something remarkable happens in your body. Scientists call this supercompensation. I call it the body's wisdom. Picture a bamboo tree bending in a storm. The very force trying to break it is actually making it stronger. This is what scientists now call hormesis. The right amount of stress that transforms weakness into strength. In martial arts, we've always known this truth. Every block that bruises your forearm, every kick that tests your stance, is actually reprogramming your body at the cellular level. Let me share with you 3 fundamental truths about pain that will transform how you face every challenge in your life. First, truth. Pain as signal. Your nervous system is like an intricate network of messengers, each carrying crucial information. When you feel pain, it's not just your body screaming, it's your body speaking. Think about how a diamond is formed. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, carbon undergoes immense pressure. Without this pressure, this pain, the diamond cannot emerge. This is exactly what happens in your training. When you practice a move thousands of times, your nerves are literally rewiring themselves. Each repetition, each moment of discomfort is actually creating new neural pathways. I discovered this in my own training, when a technique finally becomes effortless. It's not because the pain disappeared, it's because you learned to read its message. Second truth, the pain relationship. Modern psychology tells us something fascinating. Your mind can transform how you experience pain. When I work with students, I often see them tense up, resist, fight against the discomfort. But here's what research has shown us. This resistance actually amplifies the pain. Instead, I teach them what I call pain dialogue. Rather than bracing against the discomfort, you learn to observe it with curiosity, like a scientist studying a fascinating phenomenon. This isn't just philosophical. Studies show this approach actually changes how your brain processes pain signals. I'll give you a practical example. When you're holding a difficult stance, don't count the seconds until it's over. Instead, study the sensation. Where exactly do you feel it? How does it change? This isn't just endurance, it's education. Third truth, pain alchemy. This is where science meets spirit. Your body has an incredible capacity for adaptation. When you stress a muscle, it doesn't just repair, it rebuilds stronger. This is biochemistry at work. Micro tears in muscle fibers, calcium signaling protein synthesis, all triggered by the very stress you're experiencing. Let me share something personal. When I first tried to make it in Hollywood, I faced constant discrimination. Every rejection, every stereotypical role offered, every closed door. It was a different kind of pain. But I applied these same principles. Instead of letting it break me, I studied it. What was this pain telling me about the industry, about society, about myself? I developed a systematic approach I call transform and transcend. First, you identify the exact nature of your pain, physical, emotional, spiritual. Then you analyze its message. What is it trying to teach you? Finally, you develop a specific action plan to address it. This isn't just positive thinking. This is practical alchemy. When they said I couldn't be a leading man, I didn't just prove them wrong. I changed the entire paradigm. Every no became a building block for something new. Every rejection became fuel for innovation. Think about this. Every cell in your body knows how to transform stress into strength. Your muscles do it. Your bones do it. Your mind can do it too. This isn't just biology. This is the science of human potential. When you understand these three truths, pain as signal, pain as relationship, pain as catalyst, you begin to see every challenge differently. You're not just enduring pain, you're engaging with it. You're not just surviving stress, you're using it to evolve. This is how warriors are forged. This is how legends are born. This is the true science of transformation. Now that you understand the philosophy, let me show you exactly how to put this knowledge into practice. What I'm about to share isn't just theory. It's a battle-tested method I've refined through years of training and teaching. First, let's talk about the science of managing pain and stress. Think of your body and mind like a bow and arrow. Pull too little, and your arrow goes nowhere. Pull too much, and the bow breaks. The secret lies in finding the perfect tension. This is what scientists call the stress recovery cycle. In my own training, I discovered a precise rhythm. 2 hours of intense practice, followed by 1 hour of deep recovery. Not random rest, but strategic renewal. When you push yourself to the edge of your capabilities, your body and mind need specific time to adapt. This isn't weakness. This is wisdom. Let me show you how to implement this practically. Start with what I call the progression principle. Day 1, you might hold a stance for 30 seconds. Day 2, 32 seconds. Small increments, but consistent progress. Your body adapts gradually, but permanently. This is how you build unshakable strength. Now, let's develop your pain literacy. There are 3 distinct types of pain you must learn to recognize. First is growth pain, the kind that builds strength. It's sharp but clean, like the burn in your muscles during training. Second is warning pain, your body's alert system. It's usually accompanied by a sensation of something being wrong. Third is damage pain. This is the one you must learn to avoid. It's often sharp, shooting, and persists long after training. Here's how you develop this recognition. Start each morning with what I call a body scan ritual. 5 minutes of complete stillness, moving your awareness through every part of your body. Notice each sensation. Where is it located? What's its quality? Is it sharp or dull, moving or static? This practice alone will revolutionize your understanding of pain. Next, let me share my transformation system. When you encounter pain, whether physical or emotional, follow these exact steps. First, locate it precisely. Second, rate its intensity on a scale of 1 to 10. Third, classify its type. Fourth, identify its trigger. Fifth, determine its lesson. This isn't just analysis. It's actionable intelligence. I'll give you an example from my own practice. Years ago, I noticed a sharp pain in my side kick. Instead of pushing through blindly, I applied this system. Location, left hip flexor. Intensity, 7 out of 10. Type, growth pain. Trigger, insufficient warm-up. Lesson, need for better preparation and gradual progression. Now let's talk about daily integration. Your morning ritual is crucial. Here's mine. I wake at dawn. First, 5 minutes of breathing exercises to center my mind. Then 10 minutes of joint mobility work. Not stretching, but moving each joint through its full range of motion. This primes your nervous system for the day ahead. Next comes what I call controlled stress exposure. Start with something challenging but manageable. For some, it's holding a horse stance for 1 minute. For others, it's facing a difficult conversation. The key is to stay present with the discomfort. Study it. Learn from it. Let it teach you about yourself. Between these challenges, you must master recovery. I use a technique called micro-recoveries. Every hour, take 30 seconds to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and consciously relax any tension. This prevents stress from accumulating and keeps you sharp. Track everything. Keep a daily log of your challenges and responses. Note what works and what doesn't. Look for patterns. This isn't just record keeping. It's creating a personal manual for your growth. Remember this. The goal isn't to eliminate pain from your life. The goal is to become so skilled at using it that pain becomes another tool in your arsenal. When you master these methods, you'll find yourself seeking out challenges that once seemed impossible. But start small. Begin with one technique, perhaps the morning body scan. Practice it daily for a week. Then add another layer. This is how you build unshakable habits. This is how you forge yourself into something extraordinary. Now, my friend, let me share something profound about the extraordinary power of your mind. Scientists have discovered what martial artists have known for centuries. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself. Every time you face pain with awareness, you're not just enduring it, you're literally reshaping your neural pathways. Think of your mind as a garden. Each time you respond to pain with consciousness rather than reaction, you're planting new seeds of strength. This is what neuroscientists call neuroplasticity. I discovered this truth through countless hours of training. When you repeatedly choose to stay present with discomfort, something remarkable happens. The very circuits in your brain begin to change. But here's what most people never understand. Your psychological patterns are like deeply worn paths in a forest. When pain arrives, most people automatically run down the same old trails. Avoid, resist, escape. Breaking these patterns requires more than just willpower. It requires a complete rewiring of your response system. Let me share a training secret I've never revealed before. When I face intense resistance in my body or mind, I don't just push through it. I create what I call a pain dialogue. I ask myself, what is this resistance trying to protect? What wisdom lies hidden within this discomfort? This isn't just philosophy. It's practical psychology in action. Your physical and mental training must become one unified force. Most people train their bodies and minds separately, but this is a crucial mistake. When you punch, it's not just your fist moving. It's your entire being expressing itself. When you face fear, it's not just your mind responding. It's your whole system engaging. Now let me show you how to build a systematic approach to growth. I've developed what I call the spiral progress method. Imagine a spiral staircase. Each turn brings you back to the same point, but at a higher level. This is how true mastery works. You don't just move forward, you circle back to basics with deeper understanding. Start with what I call baseline calibration. Document exactly where you are right now. Your strengths, your fears, your limitations. Be brutally honest. This isn't about judgment. It's about creating a clear starting point. Then, establish specific checkpoints for your journey. Not just physical, benchmarks, but mental and spiritual markers. Create feedback loops in your training. After each session, ask yourself 3 questions. What worked? What didn't? What adjustments are needed? This isn't just reflection. It's scientific data collection for your personal evolution. Your body and mind are constantly sending you signals. Learn to read them like a master reads ancient scrolls. Here's the most crucial part. You must take absolute ownership of your transformation. No one else can do this work for you. No teacher, no master, no guru can walk this path in your place. Every moment of pain presents you with a choice point. Will you run? Will you fight blindly? Or will you engage with awareness? I learned this lesson the hard way. In my early days, I would blame external circumstances for my limitations. The weather was too hot. The equipment wasn't right. The opponent was too big. But then I realized these were all excuses that robbed me of my power. True power begins the moment you take complete responsibility for your growth. Build what I call a personal accountability architecture. Set clear, measurable objectives for your training. Not just physical goals, but mental and spiritual targets. How will you respond to failure? How will you handle success? What standards will you hold yourself to when no one is watching? Create daily check-ins with yourself. Morning and night. Take 5 minutes to align your actions with your intentions. Are you moving toward your goals or away from them? Are you making excuses or making progress? This isn't about punishment. It's about honest self-assessment. Remember this truth. Pain will come whether you're ready or not. Life will test you whether you've prepared or not. The only question is, will you be the architect of your transformation, or will you be its victim? The choice is yours, but the time to decide is now. As we come to the end of our time together, let me share one final truth. Everything we've discussed, the science of adaptation, the psychology of transformation, the alchemy of pain, it all comes down to this moment. Your moment. The moment you decide to stop being pain's victim and start being its student. Remember that young man I told you about, standing in the rain on Hong Kong's streets? The one who thought he knew everything until pain taught him otherwise? That moment could have broken me. Instead, it became the foundation of everything I am today. Just as a scientist learns to transform raw data into breakthrough discoveries, you can learn to transform every challenge into capability, every setback into strength. The science is clear. Your body and mind are designed for growth through adversity. Every cell in your being knows how to adapt, how to evolve, how to become stronger. But this knowledge means nothing without action. So, let me give you 3 specific steps to take the moment you leave here today. First, start your pain diary tonight. Write down every discomfort you face, physical or emotional. Don't judge it, don't fight it, just observe and record it. This is your data collection phase, the beginning of your personal science of transformation. Second, tomorrow morning, begin your day with the body scan ritual we discussed. 5 minutes of conscious attention, mapping every sensation. This is your baseline measurement, your starting point for conscious evolution. Third, choose one challenge you've been avoiding. Something that scares you, something that makes you uncomfortable. Approach it not with the intention to conquer, but with the intention to learn. This is your first experiment in pain alchemy. But here's the most important part. You must commit fully to this path. Half measures will produce half results. The universe responds to commitment with opportunity, to dedication with growth. So right now, in this moment, make a decision. Not a wish, not a hope, but a bone-deep commitment to your own evolution. Remember this: every great story of transformation begins with pain. The butterfly emerging from its cocoon, the phoenix rising from ashes, the hero facing their greatest fear. These aren't just stories. They're blueprints for human potential. Your potential. You know what's fascinating? Scientists have discovered that the most successful adaptations in nature occur not during times of comfort, but during times of stress. You are no different. Your greatest growth will come from your greatest challenges. Your finest moments will be forged in the crucible of your hardest times. As I stand before you today, I'm not just a teacher sharing techniques. I'm living proof of these principles in action. From the streets of Hong Kong to the lights of Hollywood, from physical limitations to new frontiers of human potential. Every step of my journey has been guided by this understanding of pain's true purpose. Now it's your turn. Your pain is waiting to become your power. Your challenges are waiting to become your triumphs. Your fears are waiting to become your strengths. The only question is, are you ready to begin? Remember, the pain you feel today is planting the seeds of tomorrow's strength. Water these seeds with your sweat, nourish them with your dedication, and watch as they grow into something extraordinary. Your transformation begins now. Be water, my friend, but be the water that shapes mountains, that carves new paths, that transforms everything it touches. Your journey of transformation starts with this single moment, this single choice, this single commitment to become unstoppable. The path of pain to power lies before you. Walk it with courage, walk it with wisdom, walk it with unstoppable determination. And remember, I'll be right here with you, in spirit, every step of the way.